What's going, guys? It's Deathmonk here. Today I'm going to be doing a talk about my life video here, guys. Usually I was thinking about doing a draw my life video initially for this, but basically I had a very difficult experience when it comes to drawing and recording using one hand, and my the whiteboard I was going to use is still stuck up on the wall. I couldn't take it down for some reason. So basically I'm just going to talk about it rather than basically draw it out. So hopefully if you do enjoy this and you want to see more and you want to know more about me, give this video a thumbs up, guys. I'd probably appreciate it. So I was born on a cold afternoon, 5:30 PM on Friday the 24th of January 1992 in a small town in the northeast of England called Stockton-on-Tees. This is just about, I'd estimate, 30 miles south of Newcastle upon Tyne, where we've had all sorts of celebrity, I guess you could say, like well-known footballers or soccer players if you're from the US, and this basically it's a small industrial area of the northeast of England is where I'm from. A small town named Billingham is where I first lived. So basically I was initially going to be called Ethan, according to my parents, but the night before I was born they decided to watch the movie or film E.T., the Extraterrestrial, and that's when they decided to change my name from Ethan to Elliot, named after the child in the movie. So that's why they decided to call me the name that I've got. I had a bit of a difficult start to life. Basically, first of all, I had initial trouble breathing, and I had to be on. Had to give me a little bit of assistance when it comes to my breathing difficulties at the time. But when I was in my twos, or around my twos, basically I had what's called a febrile convulsion, which is basically where it's another breathing difficulty, or I won't say disease, but that's basically what it is, where you like start overheating and you start having trouble breathing as a result of it. I was at a ice rink time with I think it was my grandma and my mum, according to this is coming from my mum, and basically I basically said I started like overheat somehow. I think my temperature was getting a little bit higher or a little bit lower than it's supposed to, and basically I collapsed. Apparently, according to my mum, I took a helicopter ride all the way over to North East General Hospital, which is about, I'd say, in terms of driving, I say it's about a 15-minute drive away from where I live, but I think I went by helicopter or air helicopter, which is really, really good. Apparently I knew nothing about that. I still don't remember that to this day, to be quite honest with you. And as a result of that, I believe I also had to take a hernia operation, apparently. I think I may have got my dates wrong here, but that went down in 1994. And apparently when I was age 3, this is when I got diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. Now some people on the channel, and on my previous channel, Deathmonk 992, will be familiar with this. I got diagnosed at age 3 with Asperger's syndrome, which is a learning disability, which is basically affects the brain and the way I communicate with other people. Sometimes some people have difficulties. Mine's quite mild. Some people have difficulty like communicating with other people and staying on topic, if that makes sense. And unfortunately, it is a lifelong condition, which is a little bit unfortunate. But there are, I won't say cures, but there are some ways of getting around it, if that makes sense. I was fortunate enough, or somehow, I don't know how I learned this. According to my mum, I was actually able to recite the English alphabet at age 3, hold on, backwards. Now, whether I can still do it now, I could probably have a go now, in all honesty, but let's see here. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So basically, I attended nursery at a small school in Billingham called Holy Rosary, which is like kind of like a Church of England primary. So it's like I won't say religious, but that's basically it was all like Church of England, Catholic, that sort of deal. I had to go to a special school due to my autism, Durham Lane and Eaglescliffe. That's when I had to go to a special school because my parents actually weren't sure how I'd actually cope in like mainstream primary or elementary from the USA. So I left there in year 4 or 3rd grade and moved on to mainstream primary, which I'll come on to in a moment. Which I actually went from years 5 to 6 or 4th and 5th grade. And after that I went to Northfield Secondary School, still needing occasional assistance from learning support assistants. That's for 6th to 10th grade. I moved house while I was aged 9 from Billingham to where I currently reside, and that ironically enough took place 3 days after the 9/11 attack that happened in New York City. So it was a bit of a none of us knew what was going to happen at the time. We didn't move house just because of that event. We moved house because it was back where I was living previously. It was a very small. It was a small town. I should say that. Or rephrase that. It is a small town, and I heard there was all sorts of like thefts and things like going around. And my parents basically wanted to move to a community where there's less of that, and we needed a little bit more room, a little more, I guess you could say, more breathing space. I guess you could say it was a little bit too busy. I didn't like all the noise. That was part of my problem with autism as well. So basically, when it comes to secondary school, I went there from 2003 to 2008. That's 6th to 10th grade. I did still needed the odd assistance from my teachers and LSAs, or learning support assistants. Basically, we could say I was a little bit behind developmentally in terms of my communication and my brain, I guess you could say. So it was a challenge, I'll be honest with you, and I decided to, after finishing school in 2008, I went on to during the summer holidays of that year, I went on to my prom, and a really fantastic night there. If I can pull up some images, guys, I'll show you up on the screen as well. So actually, during my time at school, my life pretty much revolved around going on like MySpace. Some people may remember that. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any images of my experiences on it, but I also went on MSN Messenger. I was pretty much on that every single day, as you can probably imagine. This was before the time Facebook and Twitter and Instagram all existed. At the time, when I was at school, I actually struggled doing my GCSEs. I did actually need the occasional assistance from my parents for revision, but fortunately I managed to pass that with 4C grades, or grade 4s with the current system at GCSE level. Then moved on to sixth form college to study interactive media, which basically involves doing video editing, ironically enough, and various other, like making video games, 2D, 3D animation, music and interactive media, that sort of thing. So actually, just touch back on the school thing. I also did media studies at GCSE, which was I think I did pretty well in that. I can't exactly remember my grade if I got anything for that, but that was really cool. Sixth form college, as I aforementioned, interactive media. I was doing all sorts, but my main weakness was art. I wasn't the best drawer, I'll be honest with you, but I started basically drawing a lot more when it comes to me doing Photoshop after I finished college back in 2010. So that was at BTEC level, which was a level 3 BTEC, was what's actually called a BTEC level 3 national diploma, which is like the equivalent of 3 A levels. So I'm very proud of that. I was thinking I was never going to get through that. After finishing college, I went straight into finding a job. University, I was thinking about going to university, but this is coming from like members of my family and also all sorts of friends that have been to university in the past. One of the factors that was going to bother me was living away from home. because most of my family live around the northeast of England. I didn't want to be away from something if something went. I didn't want to be away from somebody if something went wrong. So that's what I was thinking. I think was the best thing to do. After finishing college, I started driving at 17 years old, which is the minimum age in the UK. I think there was talk of moving up to 18, but I'm not sure what's exactly going on with that at the present moment in time. But my parents were concerned I would never pass my practical driving test, even though I passed my theory third time and practical first time, and I've since only crashed my car once. Now, I think on average at this present moment in time, most new drivers are pretty much guaranteed to crash their car within the first 2 years of driving. And that was during my first 2 years of driving, would you believe? So my first car I think was a blue Fiat Punto, and I think it was a decent car. If I manage to find any pictures, guys, I'll show them up on the screen. I couldn't find any pictures of the crash. I'm not going to go into detail on exactly what happened, but basically my radiator overheated to the point where it wouldn't drive anymore. So I had to get rid of that. On top of that, I basically replaced that with a red Fiat Punto, which is a slightly newer model. Then I think it's about 3-4 years after that, I think I sold that car for my current car, which is I think it was a 2017 edition Kia Rio. Some people may have seen that recently on my channel, and I think it was a pretty decent car. But I'm quite happy with driving. I haven't been doing as much during lockdown, but we'll see what the whole future holds for me for that. I might consider getting myself like upgrades on my car and stuff like that, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, YouTube. Basically, for those who don't know, I started YouTube casually in 2008, and I took YouTube serious back in 2010 with my first channel, DeathMonk992. This was unfortunately taken down in August last year, 2020, for alleged spam. Now, what I believe went wrong there was, I was saying whether or not to say this or not, but I had to be clear and cut with you guys. Basically, I was trying to start up my merchandise website, for lack of a better term, and basically once, I don't know what went down exactly, but I'm guessing someone may at some point like report me down the line for alleged spam, but that's basically what happened. And I basically took this series in the days of Modern Warfare 2. That was my very first upload. So Call of Duty was my go-to game. I didn't have any HD PVRs or anything like that. I didn't have any recording devices until now. So I had to resort to record while using my mobile phone. So at the time, I think my first mobile phone was actually well, it wasn't my first phone, but I had a few phones prior to that. But I think my very first one actually had photo capabilities. I think it may have been a Samsung Razr, and I've had previous phones previous to that, so that was really interesting. So I started recording seriously since Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, even though my very first Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 1, the original. So I was doing all sorts of trick shots, feeds, aiming to do amazing throwing knife kills, as well as going on high kill streaks. Eventually my channel got to 1,900 subscribers, but that was over a 10-year period, which it was steadily increasing, and all disaster struck in August last year when I got taken down. But and at the same time, I think some people may have noticed this on my previous channel, but also my computer broke in the same month, would you believe? So basically I was getting what's called the blue screen of death, where it basically comes up with this blue screen and the machine basically shut itself down. And basically got down to the point where I had to get rid of that, get myself a new computer, which is this one right here, the one I'm currently using. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it already on the channel. And the majority of my subscribers took interest in WWE, Fortnite, Call of Duty, the occasional lifestyle or travel vlog that I do. There will be more coming of those soon on the channel, guys. During my days playing Call of Duty, I was a member of a clan, a local clan called the Frontline, which is a basically we did all sorts of competitive game battles and things like that, which we did that for a few years before we eventually disbanded. And basically we couldn't find any times to basically play with each other a bit more professionally, but did a few game battles. We signed up for Call of Duty Elite, which is like the community clan wars and things like that, so that was really interesting. I wasn't actually ever good enough to take part in high-end tournaments. As aforementioned, I took interest in game battles, which went okay, but the clan parted ways when everyone gradually lost interest in the Call of Duty series and left PlayStation for Xbox. I think they started playing Halo these days, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I started my current channel, Deathbox247, in August last year, as aforementioned. Continue making videos on Fortnite, Call of Duty, among other video game franchises, and I've currently got 5,000 plus subscribers. Most I've had so far. Thank you very much, I appreciate the support. Gaming itself, so I think I used to have a Sega Mega Drive, and actually I rephrase that. My cousin had a Sega Mega Drive. I used to go over to my cousin's house, play Sonic the Hedgehog, all sorts of other video games that Sega had to offer at the time, when the Sega was prominent. Then moved on to playing on PC. I played all sorts of like different video games, ranging from Tiger Woods PGA Tour to Colin McRae Rally. Those are the games I really remember the most. Then I was a complete PlayStation nerd, or geek, however you want to interpret it. Had every single PlayStation, so PlayStations 1, 2, 3, 4, and currently the 5. Playing from Call of Duty to Tony Hawk skateboarding to the Crash Bandicoot series, I love that series, and FIFA as well as Gran Turismo, Colin McRae Rally as aforementioned, and basically stopped buying physical discs just after the PS4 released, so that was really interesting times, guys. My very first game, as aforementioned, was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 that I remember playing on the PS2. I did play like various other video games off the top of my head. If I manage to name any games off my head, I will annotate these on screen. Are the ones I can immediately remember. So that was really interesting, guys. I loved playing video games. I'll be honest with you, I have played on Xbox maybe once or twice, and even though the controls are similar, I just found it a little bit difficult for me to actually perform as well as I could on PlayStation. So that's why I didn't play on much Xbox, to be honest with you. I did have loads of Nintendo consoles, including the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. I was playing the Pokemon series. I loved playing the Pokemon series. I played that until my eyes bled. I also have the Nintendo DS and the 3DS, again playing Pokemon and brain training. I love to get my brain in shape. I don't play as much brain training now, but if you want to see me playing some more Pokemon, if I can dig out my Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, would you like to see that on the channel? Please do let me know in the comments box down below. I've been on numerous holidays abroad, so I've been numerous times to Florida. We also used to own a villa out there, and we sold that back in 2005. I think it was just around the time frame of Hurricane Katrina, which basically, for those who don't know, obliterated the southeast area of the United States. I think if memory serves, I think that hit New Orleans and areas of Florida back in 2005, and it got to the point where we couldn't keep upkeep of the house, so we had to basically sell that, unfortunately. But we still go there to like another villa that we do go out to on pretty much on a yearly basis now. That was located out. Basically, we always like to go to an area called Champions Gate, which is a very famous golf course on the outskirts of Orlando. Love to go there again someday, hopefully when lockdown is over and done with. I have travelled to several US states, including New York, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, California, Nevada, Hawaii, Tennessee and Louisiana. Now, reason being I've been to those particular states is because of the WWE. Now, some people may be familiar with this, but I'm a massive fan of WWE and WrestleMania. I've been to the last 7. So actually, I rephrase that. I went to WrestleMania's 28 to 34 inclusive. I'd love to go in there. As soon as I found out when I got to WrestleMania 35 that it was in New York, a place I've already been. So I was thinking, what's the point in going? I've travelled to Dubai 3 times at the Jumeirah Beach Hotel, which is like one of those super hotels that's based in Dubai, and it's also got a sister water park, which is pretty cool. Love going to that water park every time that I've been there. I've also been to Lake Garda in Italy. I think I've been there about 2 or 3 times now. Murcia and Barcelona in Spain. I've also been on 2 cruises so far, both with Sea Princess and the Emerald, travelling around the Caribbean and the Greek islands. Best moments of my life so far, basically it's passing my driving test. Never thought I would pass. Winning Young Volunteer of the Year in 2016. So I'm just going to show you this trophy that I won. Some people may have noticed this recently on the channel, but basically I won this back in 2016 for Young Volunteer of the Year. Basically, I do voluntary work at my local charity called Days Change. Shout out to you guys. I'm basically helping kids who, for those who don't know, helping kids basically who have diagnosis of autism and helping those families who need an extra bit of support. As aforementioned, I've also travelled to 7 WrestleManias. I'd love to do maybe some more AEW or more WWE. Let me know what your thoughts are of that in the comments box down below. So, just to give you, that's basically how my life revolves around so far. So I want to know what your thoughts are. Please do let me know in the comments box down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button. Don't forget notification bells on the same more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then.